An 8-year-old boy named Christian LaRue dreams of being the best football player in the world and joining the national team. He's a huge admirer of Cristiano Ronaldo and hopes to be just like him. Kathleen, Christian's mother, backs him and thinks that he needs to learn to walk before he can jump, so she motivates him to first show his abilities to the coach. His dad, George, is in the U.S. Army and is presently on duty engaged in a conflict in Afghanistan. Later, we meet an awkward neighbor named Frank, who often flirts with Kathleen. His 2 boys, Donald and Ed, go to the same football practice club as Christian, so he assists the kid with pickup and drop-off. Christian is overshadowed by his sons, who think he will never reach their standards. One day, their coach Dominic offers Christian an opportunity by making him the new forward of the team. However, the boy is unable to impress the coach, as he does not net a single goal. He comes home feeling down and shares with his mother, who recalls his father's words. George would inspire him with a motivational saying, "Never give up, as it leads to success, and that is the greatest revenge." Later at home, Christian is practicing penalty shots when he unintentionally kicks the ball into another neighbor's yard, damaging his plants. Angry, the old neighbor steps outside and scolds him for harming his beautiful plants. The boy says sorry and shares his wish to become the greatest football player in the world. Yet, the man, who hates football, tells Christian to keep the ball and his dream far from him. In the following scene, we observe Dominic's football team, Northern Stars, taking part in a tournament, while the kids' parents support them from the crowd. As usual, Frank does not want Christian to participate, so he convinces Dominic to keep him as a backup. In the first half, their team plays poorly, making the coach feel anxious. At halftime, he encourages them to apply the triangle strategy and quick passes to advance and score. He also attempts to inspire the team before the beginning of the second half. Still, the team does not perform well. As the playtime is nearing its conclusion, Dominic chooses to swap Donald with Christian. To everyone's amazement, he plays quite well, but is still unable to score. Luckily, their team receives a penalty, which they convert and equalize the game at 1-1. Once the game concludes and all the kids depart, the coach praises Christian for his performance, stating that he played like a champion. On the flip side, we observe George and his military group in action. They seem to be encircled by the foes, and to add to the situation, their leader is badly hurt. The troops are gradually losing hope, but George keeps taking care of his fellow soldiers, promising them that he will not abandon anyone. Amid all this, he gazes at a photo of his wife and son, which makes him feel emotional. The following morning, while Kathleen is driving home after taking her son to school, she gets a call. It is Sergeant William Scott, who discloses that her spouse is MIA, missing in action. Surprised by the unexpected news, Kathleen becomes distracted and ultimately crashes her car. Later that evening, Christian, who's waiting for his mom at school, is taken by Frank, who drives him directly to the hospital. The boy is devastated to see his mother is in a serious condition. With no one to care for Christian, he is left with Frank until his mother gets better. Sadly, he's treated quite badly. He's compelled to reside in a deserted basement and even required to handle all the chores. One day, Frank sees Christian needing new football shoes, so he brings him to a sports shop. However, before the shopkeeper presents the top choices, Frank emphasizes that Christian is not his child, and therefore he seeks the least expensive shoes offered. After this, the shopkeeper presents him with a pair of unusual golden-colored shoes. Even so, the boy does not grumble and happily takes what he receives. One day, Christian is training by himself, wearing the same old shoes. He is surprised when he discovers he is shooting the ball like a professional. At the hospital, Kathleen is lucky to be under the care of a kind and giving nurse named Mary White. In addition to looking after Kathleen, she also motivates her to be resilient for her child, stating that a mother's strength is the sole way to uplift a child's spirit. A few days later, the Northern Stars are playing another match, and if they succeed in winning it, they'll be able to participate in the tournament's finals. This indicates they will have an opportunity to participate in the regional state championship games. However, when the first half concludes, the team is unable to execute. As time is limited, Dominic chooses to substitute Frank's son with Christian for the upcoming half. When Frank listens to this, he protests strongly and attempts to convince the coach to rethink his choice. But Dominic knows exactly what he's doing. With no other option, Frank plays the underhanded game by coercing the coach into giving back the money that he appears to have loaned in the past. Yet in spite of this, Dominic declines and lets Christian play. Dominic's choice turns out to be a pivotal moment as Christian nets goals consecutively. Everyone is amazed by his outstanding performance, including the coach, who murmurs, "I've found my striker." After the match, Christian's sole friend Julian, who is the goalie of Northern Stars, praises him for his performance and urges him to remain strong for his mother. But Frank, who is jealous of the boy, makes him wash the dishes, stops him from seeing his mother, and even bans him from calling her. After several games, Christian's abilities begin to flourish, and he guides his team to many wins, much to the joy of his coach, who has felt like a failure his whole life, but now feels like a champion because of the young boy. Slowly, the boy's amazing game draws the interest of news reporters, and his photo is printed in the newspaper. At the hospital, Mary displays the newspaper to Kathleen, who is quite proud of her son. She then tries to reach him, but a jealous Frank overlooks her call. The evening before the championship game, Dominic contacts a national team scout named Mitch and requests him to take some time to observe Christian's match. In the finals, Christian exceeds expectations, guiding the team to triumph and amazing Mitch, just as the coach anticipated. As time goes by, Christian's fame keeps growing, and Kathleen sees him on TV, which brings her great joy. She's also sentimental because she hopes George could witness their son's performance. On the other hand, Frank is unhappy with the boy's achievement and creates a scheme to undermine him. One day, Christian is training by himself when he thinks about whether his skill has gotten better just because of the golden shoes. To test it out, he practices penalty kicks using both of his pairs available. Interestingly, he shoots flawlessly with the golden shoes, while all his attempts with the regular pair are clumsy. Frank, who's listening in, finds out the secret and plans to take his golden shoes. He attempts to persuade Christian by giving him a new pair and even tries to take them while he's asleep. But his attempts are in vain. Even with all this, Christian is a kind-hearted kid who prays for his parents, his team, and even Frank's health. Before long, the regional state championship matches start, and Christian, with his incredible talents, guides the team to many wins, ultimately bringing the team to the finals for the very first time. The remarkable performance boosts the boy's image, pushing him to the front pages of newspapers and magazines. However, Frank remains the same, and he keeps overpowering the boy with his icy attitude. One day, Kathleen phones Frank to ask about her son's condition, but even though Christian is right there with him, he declines to let them talk. In other places, Christian's fame reaches the office of the U.S. president, who is updated on the boy's and his parents' present circumstances. After listening to all of this, the president chooses to back the boy and holds a press conference where he shares Christian's touching story. He also states that he will do everything possible to locate Christian's father and bring him back, so that he can watch Christian play in the upcoming championship game. Meanwhile, Mary offers Kathleen some encouragement about how she should use her crutches and attend her son's game. Shortly after, she is visited by the president's secretary, who tells her about the president's backing for her son. In the following scene, we observe another group of military troops dispatched to find their missing soldiers. Luckily, they are able to find the MIAs and safely bring them home. Later, the president conducts another press conference to announce the positive news of the MIA's rescue and their well-being. He also reveals the names of the MIAs, one of whom is George LaRue. Kathleen, who is viewing the news on TV, is thrilled. The president thinks that this is a brave tale, and if it does not motivate a country, he does not know what will. After saying this, he leaves, mentioning he has a football match to attend. On the day of the regional state championship finals, Christian prepares himself. But just as he's about to step out of his basement room, he discovers that Frank has locked him inside and taken the golden shoes. Fortunately, the dog of the neighbor who dislikes football wakes up his owner, who comes over to check what all the commotion is about. Through the glass of the basement window, he questions Christian about why he should assist him, and the boy scribbles a note stating, "Because you are my angel." This moves the man's heart, so he quickly shatters the window glass and drags Christian out. After noticing that he's late for his soccer match, the man chooses to take him to the stadium in his classic car. But before entering the car, Christian sees several football trophies in his garage and questions how he earned them despite his aversion to the sport. After getting caught, the man admits that he was quite skilled at football when he was younger. But one unfortunate day, he was caught in an accident that broke both his foot and his back, making him surrender everything. Even so, he had progressed with his life until one day, Christian began practicing next door, and now he's in love with the lovely game once again. Following a short chat, the two hurry towards the game. At the same time, Dominic inquires about Christian from Frank, but he falsely claims that the boy is unwell and that he won't be able to attend. Therefore, the game starts without Christian, and the team is understandably less strong. Soon after, Christian finally arrives at the game, but he's without his golden shoes, which leads him to question himself. When the coach discovers, he gives him an encouraging talk, telling him that he doesn't require those shoes to play, and that all he needs to do is have faith in himself. The boy then joins the game, and remembering Dominic's words, he succeeds in scoring his first goal, enhancing his confidence. In the last moments, he scores an amazing goal just like his hero Cristiano Ronaldo did, and guides his team to triumph. So Kathleen gets to the stadium, and as she limps in on crutches, George comes up to her from behind. Following a heartfelt reunion, the couple enters to see their son raise the trophy. After the game, the family finally comes together, and when Frank attempts to step in, Kathleen hits him in the face and tells her husband that she will clarify later. Shortly after, Mitch comes over and gives Christian a place on the international team. The film concludes with the victorious team raising the trophy.